Hi, I'm Marty Nemko. Countless articles, books, and lectures have attempted to propose the cure for procrastination. Those efforts divide into two categories: tactics and emotion-centered approaches. Both of those may be overcomplexifying the solution. I myself have been guilty of it. For example, just yesterday I wrote an article offering lots of anti-procrastination tactics, and a year or so ago I wrote an article focusing on the emotional. But after having had a rewarding exchange with procrastination expert Tim Peichel, who had read the aforementioned tactics article I just wrote yesterday, I decided to offer you a simpler approach. 1. Be vigilant for what I call the moment of truth. That second that you're deciding, consciously or subconsciously, whether to do the task or to escape to something more pleasurable. Too often we opt for the burrito rather than TurboTax, without taking a moment to really take in how much your life would be better if you did the task and how much worse it would be if you didn't. For example, by doing a task, you avoid the guilt of waiting until the last minute when the work risks being slipshod or even not done. You avoid the anxiety of having it hang over your head, dampening the pleasure you got from the burrito. You get the benefit, for example, of not having to file a tax extension, which keeps your tax preparation hanging over your head for another 4 months. In other situations, getting the task done means, for example, helping your perceived worth at work, or getting your spouse off your back. It may also help for you to realize that by not procrastinating on that one task, you're taking a doable yet meaningful step towards shedding your lifetime procrastination albatross. 2. Assess whether it really is wise to accept the short-term pain of doing the task for the long-term gain. Picture the benefits of doing it and the liabilities of not. Sometimes you blame yourself for procrastinating, though, when actually it's your brain telling you have better things to do with your time. For example, I recall a client who was beating herself up for not working on her novel, but on reflection that was wise. She found the process of writing onerous, and deep down, believed it very unlikely the book would ever get published, let alone do well. Subconsciously, she realized that she was better off devoting her time elsewhere. 3. Make it easy and as fun as possible. Put music on. Get a study buddy. Promise yourself a reward after 15 minutes of work, whatever. Sometimes you can think of an easier way to do the task. For example, instead of writing that report based on poring over through mountains of data, maybe you'd have more fun and even create a more useful report if your report was based on interviewing a few people. Or try gamification. For example, if you're procrastinating doing your taxes, maybe it would help if you thought of it as a game, in which, while staying within the law, you were aggressive without greatly increasing your risk of audit. If you're doing a big task, maybe you'd find it fun to list all the milestones and then cross them off as you get each one done. 4. Force yourself to do the first 1-second subtask. Having, in step 3, lowered your task's onerousness, it's still often necessary to force yourself to take the task's first step. That's because procrastinators' habit of choosing short-term pleasure, even if it causes long-term pain, big long-term pain, is such an entrenched habit that despite your tamping down that feeling, you're still tempted to procrastinate. So yes, force yourself to do that first 1-second part of the task. For example, yes, open TurboTax rather than shop on Amazon. Your next 1-second task might be to enter the next item on your tax return. Often just doing a few of those 1-second tasks is enough to get you rolling. 5. Use the 1-minute struggle. Procrastinating next is likely to rear its destructive head when you reach a hard part of the project. Generally, if you haven't made progress on a stumbling block within a minute, you're unlikely to. So at the 1-minute mark, decide whether to keep struggling, to get help, if only from Google, or that you can do the task without solving that hard part. And finally, 6. Forgive yourself. Even most go-getters sometimes procrastinate. Remember that if you fall off the wagon, you can always climb back on and get a fresh start. Keep at it and you will procrastinate less. Maybe even finally get that career and life-damaging procrastination albatross off your back. In any case, I welcome your comments, I welcome your thumbs up, and even can tolerate your thumbs down if you feel I deserve it. But in any event, and share, certainly feel free to share on social media if you like. In any event, I certainly appreciate your watching. I am Marty Nemko.